All right. It says here in StreamYard that we are live. So, welcome to another episode of This Week Unloaded. We are up to 96 episodes of this. I can't believe it. A couple weeks, another month, and it'll be 100 episodes. Good Lord Almighty.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. I might have to combine our Christmas episode with the yearly Christmas episode with 100 episode of celebration or something. Kill two birds with one stone. Or, well, no, I could do that for Thanksgiving. We could do 100 episode Thanksgiving tie-in, right? Yeah. Maybe that's what we'll do. Anyway, if you guys have read the title, tonight we're going to go a little on the nerdy side. Like when I sent out the links, I put a little note in there. Usually you'll always hear Clover on this Thursday show talking about, software and, reviews of channels and the algorithm and all that good stuff, right? But you don't really ever hear them talking about the hardware that's used. And by hardware, I'm talking the actual computer system that somebody may want to be using when doing video editing or hosting a video or that kind of thing. So I figured that we could tackle that tonight and maybe educate some people on some stuff. And it's going to be interesting, especially what got me on this, because AMD is about to release a whole new series of CPUs. They're going to be releasing a bunch of video cards or GPUs, and NVIDIA right now is in the process of releasing new video cards. Have either one of you heard anything about any of those, or is this all new to both of you as well?
It's new to me. I haven't checked up or checked in on PC hardware for a long time, so I'm anxious to hear what's new and out there.
It's all Greek to me, so let's go.
All right. And
I'm ready to learn something.
Yeah. Here's the thing people don't realize. I'm going to start with this. Building your own computer is easy. If you can put together an AR-15, you can put together a computer.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just plugging parts into the right spot. I mean, it might look complicated, but your motherboard will be fully assembled. Your RAM strips are fully assembled. You don't have to put anything on the CPU. You just put your CPU in the socket, put a little bit of thermal paste, screw your cooler down onto it, and you're done with that. Your video card just snaps into a slot on the motherboard, and the same with your RAM strips. And with these new SSDs, there's no cable to plug in. It just plugs into a slot on the board, and you screw it down. It's super easy to build a computer.
Well, I'd say the hard part would be component selection.
Yes.
And quality selection and compatibility. But as far as physically assembling it, yeah. I mean, if you can turn a Phillips screwdriver and plug in a couple wires, you're good to go.
Yeah, Fiend Dog said out there, he said the hardest part can be some of the front panel jumpers. Even those anymore aren't as big of a pain in the rear end as they used to be, because even those now are just a little plug that plugs into the motherboard. You're not having to do anything more extravagant than insert slot A into slot B, or plug A into slot A, or what have you. So even those are pretty simple. They're just a smaller plug, so you gotta be, takes a little more fine motor skills to get those in there. But once you got them in there, it's not that hard. And the fans, your computer fans, that all plugs into your motherboard anymore. You don't have to have all those Molex containers and stuff connectors like you would have in the past and everything. It all just plugs right into your motherboard.
Yeah, my son just built, I guess, a gaming computer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he got it at, but I got him talking to Clover about it. I was I guess, the middleman. My son said he spent like $1,500 on it.
Oh, you can do that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he has three teenage kids that like to get on there and play games too, though.
Yeah, we just spent when we built my daughter's computer. We spent between $1,300 and $1,400 on hers. So yeah, it's you can find the money racking up quickly, especially depending on what parts you're buying.
Yeah. Usually, $1,000, even if you want to have some gaming components to it. Usually, the $1,000 PC is the budget gaming rig.
Hell, I just went out and bought a laptop for 300 and some dollars. Boy, I'm happy.
That's what I need to do. I need to get a new laptop, or
Yeah,
maybe I'll build a gaming rig. Depends on how this show goes.
yeah, my laptop. If I would have bought it new when I bought it refurb. But if I would have bought it new, this is a $2,200 laptop. I bought it refurbed on eBay for $1,600.
I bought mine on Amazon for 289, I think, refurb.
Now, I've had good luck in the past on refurbs. If you shop right and get what it is you need, I don't think, it kind of sounds like a bad name, calling it refurb. But the way I look at it, all new computers that come out and all new boards and everything, there is a teeth cutting period, and things go bad and don't work. So it's good to get a refurb that's already been through that, something that's a year old, and all the problems have been fixed by then. So
Yeah.
I think refurbs are an excellent way to go, actually.
And here's the thing with refurbs, particularly in computers, a lot of them is just somebody changed their mind and they sent it back. Like most, like with your Alienware laptops, if you go on eBay and you see a refurb Alienware on eBay, chances are that's just somebody changed their mind and sent it back because something else new came out and they changed their mind on what they wanted in the laptop, so they sent it back and ordered something else, and they can't sell it as new. So they have to sell it as factory refurb, and basically all they do is go over it with a fine tooth comb, make sure everything's working on it, make sure it's not some blaring scratches or anything, and then they sell it on a discount market, and people buy them cheap, and then they resell them. In the Alienware in particular, their warranties are transferable. A lot of them, the warranty is only for the original owner. With the Alienware, they're transferable. So if you get a Alienware laptop that somebody had ordered a 3-year warranty on, which is like $500 more over top of the cost of the laptop normally, and you paid $1,600 for that, you're still getting that 3-year warranty.
I got a basement full of old computers that was top of the line, gaming built, best of everything, thousands and thousands of dollars each, aren't worth $10 each now.
Yeah. Now, Fiend Dog says his problem with laptops is average life of about 3 years. Get a desktop and can nurse it for 7 to 10 years. I've had this one for about 4 years now. But this one has the i7 6700 HQ in it, and a GTX 1070, which the Alienware laptops with this model and upwards, you're not as limited with your video card as you would be with another laptop manufacturer, because Alienware puts a higher power output on them, so you actually get closer to a desktop video card in your Alienware laptop than you do, say, Asus.
Did you say you have a 1070 video card?
Yeah.
Geez, why don't you pull that out and try to sell it down at the antique shop or something?
Hey man, they're only coming out with the 3000 series now, but this 1070 is still a darn good video card. for what I would need it, what I've been using it for. It's still a really good video card. If anything, my CPU is limiting more than what the video card is because it's only a quad core. Now i7s are up to 6-8 cores. But, my daughter's computer we just built, it's got an 8-core Ryzen. That's the AMD Ryzen 7 3700X in it, which right now you really don't even want to buy those. By the time January, right now is not the time to be buying parts. I'm going to throw that out there right now for everybody out there. But this is where you do want to take notes. If you're going to be in the market within the next 6 months, take notes now on what's out there, because AMD is about to release the 5000 series, which is the Zen 3 architecture, and those are going to just about blow away everything that Intel currently has on the market. Even AMD's own benchmarks, because nobody else has gotten to test one yet, but AMD's own benchmarks, they've actually thrown in one benchmark where Intel beat them, and that was by like 3%, and that was on Battlefield 5. Other than that, every other aspect that they've tested, the AMD has come out on top. Now, again, this is AMD's benchmarking, but if they're right, then again, that's a but, because we won't have any real testing probably until the beginning of next month when they start shipping these out to the testers. Intel's in trouble. Intel is in real serious trouble. The AMD CPUs are going to be around $100 cheaper and more powerful. Right now, Intel has a slight lead over AMD with the AMD's 3000 series CPUs on the desktop. And that's only in gaming.
So we were starting to talk about it in the pre-chat there. I think Intel is the classic example of a company that doesn't listen to its customers and took their competition for granted, and they're hyped more than they are actually. They're actually playing catch up. You know, they want to say they're the industry leader, but they're actually playing catch up.
Or it's not even necessarily that they're playing catch up. What they've done since the 6000 series is just recycled the same silicon every generation. Make little tweaks here to where you couldn't use the newer chip in an older motherboard, because that's Intel's thing. They don't want you to use your old motherboard. With an Intel, you always have to upgrade your motherboard with your CPU, whereas Ryzen, well, with Ryzen, which is AMD, but you don't have to do that. Now, the series that they're going to be coming out with are going to be the last one that's going to work with the socket that's on the current AMD motherboards. But Intel, you always have to upgrade your motherboard if you're upgrading your CPU. But anyway, what was my point? Oh, yeah. They haven't done anything really different since the 6000 series. The 6700 series CPU, the 7700 series i7, the 80 were the exact same processor. They were the exact same thing. The difference was how they would read one thing, which meant that it couldn't use the same motherboard. Which is stupid, I know, but that's the way Intel does things. And then they released the 8700 series, which was the same thing as the 7700 with 2 more cores on it, which made that CPU faster. But it was still the same silicon with just 2 more cores added. Same basic framework and everything of how the CPU worked. And we're at the 10,000 series now with Intel, and they've just done the same thing since, repeatedly. Now they've added 2 more cores to it. So if you get the top of the line, it's the same thing as what your 8700 series would have been. They just added 2 more cores to it again and changed how it reads certain things so it won't work on the old CPU or the old motherboard. But that's how Intel's always done things.
So, what's the average price right now for a good processor and a good motherboard?
It depends on what you're. Honestly, it depends on budget. If you want a good bargain CPU right now, before the 5000 series come out, you want to get the Ryzen 5 3600. Those are going to run you. Usually, before COVID, they were running right around $200 for the CPU, and you could get yourself a good B450 motherboard for $150, and you were set. You were good to go at that point.
Oh, so prices are pretty relative to even 10 years ago then.
Yeah. My daughter's Ryzen 7 3700X, we got that on sale. We paid probably about $300 for the CPU. The motherboard, we just got a B450 motherboard to put it in, which you can do that with Ryzen. You can't do that with Intel because the current series motherboard that chip really could have gone in, same with the 3600 for that matter, would be either the X570 or the B550 motherboards, which are the current AMD motherboards, and that's what the new CPUs are going to go in. But you're going to be able to get a BIOS that will allow you to use the new CPUs if you do have a B450 or an X470 motherboard, which would be a generation ago. Well, by the time you get to the 5000 series, that'd actually be 2 generations as far as CPU is concerned. But yeah, it just depends on what you're willing to spend. Like if you wanted to get the top of the line Intel, you're looking at consumer. We're not talking servers here. Just consumer, top of the line Intel i9 1090, 10900, I think is what it is. You're looking at around $800 to $900 for that CPU. The top of the line Ryzen, you're looking about $750 for the Ryzen 9 3950X, which is a darn good CPU, and it's a good value. And with the AMD rather, you can also get up into the Threadripper series, which if you really have money and you're really serious into doing video editing, that's the route you would want to go. Intel doesn't have anything that can match the Threadripper as far as a consumer CPU is concerned. To get anything better than the i9, which is the top of the line, like I said, consumer CPU from Intel, to get beyond that, you would have to go into the Xeon processors, which are the server side, to get the same type of processing power that you would get out of one of the Threadrippers. And Threadripper, there's 2 of them. One's a 32 core and one's a 64 core. The top of the line that Intel has on the consumer side is a 12 core. The AMD 3950 that isn't the Threadripper, but it's just in the standard Ryzen series, that's a 16 core.
I always used to try to buy right around 10 months to a year old technology when I would do things.
Yeah,
just to save a few and still plenty good enough.
Yeah, it's my the way I do things. I never buy stuff when it first comes out. I always wait a few months because there's always going to be some bug that somebody's going to find that's going to have to be worked out. So I don't like being an early adopter. I like waiting to see, for things to smooth out. But what was I lost my train of thought here. Where was I? Oh, God darn it.
Now, if somebody is on a budget, what would be the cheapest computer they could build? Say up to $1,000, roughly.
Up to $1,000.
Yeah.
Especially if you catch things on sale. which again, right now is not a good time to buy, one, because of COVID, and two, with the new stuff going to be coming out soon. But prior to all the COVID nonsense, you get yourself a good 3600, the Ryzen 5 3600, a good B450 motherboard, good RAM, a 2060 video card, the RTX 2060 from NVIDIA, and a decent power supply, a decent SSD that you could get. You would get a smaller size SSD, but you would use that for your Windows operating system, and maybe your editing software would go in there. And then a hard drive, you get yourself a good 1 terabit or larger hard drive, and a good power supply with a good case, all for under $1,000.
Let me ask this: new stuff? You still is everything still Windows 10?
Yeah.
I mean, how long we had Windows 10? 10 years?
It hasn't been 10 years. It hasn't quite been 10 years. It's been a little while.
So, is there like a Windows 11 on the horizon?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of.
There might be in testing. You can sign up with Microsoft and get into their testing program. I'm not, so I don't know what all they're testing right now. They very well could be testing Windows 11 for all I know. Yeah, G-Webs is out there saying that he buys refurbished laptops from companies that upgrade. Yeah, I do the same thing. Like before you, I don't know how long you were out there, G-Webs, but I was talking about how the laptop I have right now, it's normally a $2,200 laptop. I bought it refurb for $16,000. That was 4 years ago when this would have been a brand new laptop. But so does anybody have any questions so far on what we were talking about? Oh, by the way, John Z has jumped in with us. How are you tonight, John?
Hey, John.
Howdy. How's everybody doing?
Hey, John, how's it going?
Not bad, not bad. First night, I'm home alone. I am packing up my stuff, but I am home alone. I can talk. I'm not disturbing anybody. I'm not waking anybody up. I'm rolling with smoke. I just had my dinner, enjoying a beer. Hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah, not doing too bad.
Hey, Ozzy out there. I'm running off a laptop too. That's Windows 7.
Yeah, Windows 7 was still viable. I mean, they just recently started cutting back on support for that. So if you got a Windows 7 laptop, it'll still run. You know.
I've been saving up my money since my MacBook is like 14 years old. That's what I've been running on. There's no hard drive in the computer. I just have a set of hard drives connected through the USB ports. So when I move, that money that I saved up will go to a new Mac Mini, since I don't need the built-in screen and keyboard and mouse. I have those parts already. I'm just gonna get myself a Mac Mini. Now, I know a lot of people like to get PC stuff for gaming, for high-powered applications and stuff. I have no need for that. If you want it, God bless you. Go ahead, get what you need.
Yeah. I just don't like. I never liked the looks of Windows 10.
Well, you know there's software out there where you can make Windows 10 look like Windows 7. That's what I use. Let me see. Let me screen share.
That's the same stuff they do for the Mac.
Classic mode or whatever.
It's called it's OpenShell, I believe is what the name of it is. But you can see here at the bottom, it looks like Windows 7. See what I'm talking? Can you see that?
Yeah, the screen share is kind of messed up.
Okay, but so you can't see at the bottom of the screen here?
Yeah.
Like where my cursor is? See that?
It's similar to the thing if you've ever seen a Mac and they take the shell of the Windows and you could use it on a Mac as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that. So.
No, I'm asking Jason.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was you asking me?
I'm asking you, have you ever seen a Mac running a Windows
Yeah, you're not-
shell on the computer?
No, I have not.
So
No,
it's
no
it's
one that I
basically
know runs Macs, and I never owned one, so I just don't know.
it's basically like you're opening up a web browser, but it looks like what you're used to. So like he- what was said before, take the Windows 10 and make it look like Windows 7. You know, you're just resetting it to the way you want.
Yeah, G-Web's out there. He said you can just go to preferences and choose old versions from a list. You can't do that with Windows 10. When they took that ability out, you have to use a third-party software to re-enable that.
Right.
Which, if you look, I don't know if it's showing up there, but if you look at my start menu,
Right.
that looks just like what Windows 7 would have.
Like,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, I see it. So I just don't like Windows 10. How it's, I don't know, more cell phone-ish looking or tablet looking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause
I
grew up
totally
on
get it.
I grew up on Windows 3.1, Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows ME, and like Vista. Vista, I just was probably my favorite out of all of them. But yeah, I'm totally like old fashioned.
It's just like anything else, really. The more you use it, the better you'll get at it. So I know it may not be your current preference, but once you get the hang of it, PC or Mac, it doesn't really matter. I think you'll feel more comfortable using it, and it wouldn't matter as much. But I understand that your preference for it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm an old man now. This newfangled doohickey stuff, that's for the young kids.
Yeah, G-Web says Vista. Ugh, that was a mess inside.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never actually had a computer with Vista on it, so I don't know.
I had a machine that ran Vista just great, man. Never
I
had
went from
much issue with it.
I went from XP to Windows 7. So
I had a mini
skipped
computer.
over Vista.
I bought a mini computer with the Windows Vista, and I really didn't do much with it. So it basically worked for me, but that's really all it was. It was like a texting device and an email device. I didn't really do too much with it. Just like Windows 2000. I know the machines with the Windows ME were pretty low quality, so I don't think I've ever used any of those.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I've used every Windows except for Vista in 2000. Didn't use 2000, and I didn't use Vista.
Ozzy's like, I grew up on Encyclopedia Britannica. Yeah, I remember those. My grandparents used to have full sets of those things.
I got a set of World Book Encyclopedia sitting right over there underneath my role-playing games. Yeah.
Man, all this nostalgia, man, it's it's making me want to go down and dig out an old computer and plug it up, see what happens.
I still somewhere around here have a computer that's running on Windows ME.
Yeah, Millennium
I
Edition.
have an old Apple IIc if you want. I could send you that.
I think I used
It's not going to do much of anything, but
yeah,
if you want nostalgia.
Yeah, those were the original all-in-ones.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah,
I got it from my boss when I was working as a tech.
How long ago was that?
Oh my God. 20 years ago? 25 years ago?
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, those came out, what, like 33 years ago, something like that?
And when I was there, he was still working on them. People were still using those for businesses. So, yeah, I mean, times really have changed.
Yeah, I remember when I was in, I was in high school. I forget what grade it was, but we got one of those in my science class. I was on that thing almost every day. My teacher's like, you know the subject matter. Go ahead and play on the computer. I was like, I played on.
Hey, listen,
every day.
there's nothing like a 2.5-inch floppy to satiate anybody's need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I have a desktop around here that still has ME on it. I have another one with XP, and I did have one with XP64. I don't know what happened to it. You guys remember XP64, right?
Yeah.
The 64-bit version. Yeah. Those were.
So who here is looking to buy new stuff or upgrade? Jason?
Yeah, I should definitely get a new computer before too long. Most definitely. It's been it's probably getting close to 10 years. So when I used to go through a computer, 2 years and it wouldn't suit my needs anymore. And then around maybe 2008, 2007, I started getting a few more years out of them. But yeah, since about 2010, 2011, I haven't had anything new.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's what my recommendation would be for you, Jason, for that. If you're wanting to build a new desktop, get your motherboard now, get your RAM now. If you can find a good price on a power supply, go ahead and get that now. Hold off on your CPU and video card. Those will be the two things you don't want to buy right now because of the new stuff that's coming out. By the time, if you buy like your motherboard now and buy your RAM next month, and then by the time you get to March, when everything, all the new stuff should be on the market by then, as far as video card and CPU, you'll be ready to put everything together, and you'll have yourself a decent computer.
And you'll be able to search for stuff that's not old, certainly not the stuff that's super new, but you'll be able to get yourself something that works really good at a way better price.
That's not always true on the PC side. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, no, you have to obviously you have to balance out what you want and what you don't need.
Yeah. Right now, what I would tell you to do is go with AMD. But first off, as far as your CPU is concerned, video card you can go with AMD or NVIDIA. There's no conflict anymore. Like there used to be, you could run into conflict running an AMD or ATI motherboard video card with an NVIDIA, with an Intel, or NVIDIA with AMD. You don't have that anymore. That's all squared away. That's all good to go. So that's not an issue like it used to be. So if you want, yeah, definitely I would go AMD as far as CPU is concerned right now. Get yourself a good B550 motherboard.
Right. So who would you say is on top when it comes to motherboards right now? Back in the day in my life, I always used Asus boards. Is Asus still on top, or high quality at least?
Yeah, they still make a good board.
You have Asus, you have Gigabit.
Now Gigabyte, I always avoided like the plague because I had too many of those back in the day. That was just absolute junk.
I have a 10-year-old. I have a 10-year-old Gigabyte motherboard running in my desktop right now with an i7 875K running on it.
And that is where I would say, aside from that type of example, I would say get a AMD, get a Ryzen chip. You don't have to spend a lot of money for like 2 or 3 older generations Ryzen. But with his motherboard, like he's saying with his Gigabit, he has an Intel processor in it, and that works.
Yeah,
and it's not that old, and obviously it's not that new, but it still works.
Yeah, it still works. I mean,
and you save a lot of money if you go just back a few generations, because again, they update this stuff so often.
Yeah, the thing is with the Ryzens right now, you're going to pay about the same for a 3600, which we were talking about earlier is like the budget king right now.
Right.
You're going to pay about the same for that as you would a 2600 or a 1600.
And that's where you get the good deal.
Yeah. Well, the 3600 is the current because they haven't released a
Yeah.
new one yet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. With the Ryzen, you really don't see what you're talking about in price
The
drop.
uptick in charge, yeah.
Yeah, they're still around the same price. Now the
Yeah.
5600, that's going to be about a $250 CPU compared to a closer to $200 CPU, but it's going to be a lot faster than what the 3600 is. But right now, the 3600 is the budget king.
I'd like to put a shout out there in the chat to Gizzard Gary. I really appreciate that. He's informing me that my hillbilly speak of Asus for the last 20 years is Asus.
It's Asus.
Asus. Oh, okay.
It's like Jesus.
You know
Only
what?
for motherboards.
Don't feel bad, Jason. I still find myself just every so often because that's the way it's spelled, and you don't think about it, and then you look at it and pronounce it how it's spelled instead of how it's pronounced. It's one of those things.
Well, I stand corrected, and I appreciate that. I don't want to look like the hillbilly fool for the rest of my life.
If that's the case, then we're all hillbillies. And I salute you guys. I'm holding up my beer. To the hillbillies, I'm holding up my beer.
Oh, okay. Squib was here temporarily. But yeah, I would definitely, definitely what you're going to want to do. You can go with an Asus to make Gary happy. Just kidding, Gary. But you can go with one of them. You can go with the Gigabyte. You know what? My favorite motherboard right now is one of the Gigabytes. It's the Aris, the top of the line of the Aris in the B550s. Those boards are just awesome. It's the only B550 board that you're going to get 3 M2 SSD slots on. So if you want to get the new little card-like SSDs and you want 3 of them on your motherboard, that would be the one to go with. It's gonna.
Have you gone through with him where some of the good places are online to go and compare?
No,
you
we
did that already?
We haven't got to that point yet. We've been just talking about the parts.
Okay.
This might end up being a multiple episode kind of thing, like when we did the Wild West guns, how we had like 3 episodes talking about the various type of guns. This might very well end up turning into another one of those kind of conversations.
Yeah. Well, we've had into 3-4 o'clock morning chats about this, but that was some time ago.
Yeah.
Hell, we might end this conversation on the 100th episode.
Going into the 100th episode, right?
Yeah, really. We're only 4 episodes away. So, but yeah, as far as the motherboard, if I were going to buy one and if I had the money to do it, that would be the one I would go with. And you're not really going to be lacking anything from the X570 series motherboards, which are supposed to be the top of the line motherboards, but they came out. Here's the funny thing: the X570 with the AMD motherboards is supposed to be the top of the line, right? That's the top of the line series. The B550s came after instead of before them. So between those 2 board series coming out, they upgraded the Wi-Fi standard.
Yeah.
And they're 2 different chipsets. The X570 is the better chipset.
Yeah.
Than what the B550 is. The B550 is the more budget-minded one. Well, no, it's because you're going to have the A520, which you just want to avoid like the plague. But any of the 20, the 320, 420, 520, you don't want those. But those are what you're going to find in the cheap Dell desktops, that kind of motherboard. You don't want those. But anyway, what happened was between the 570 and the 550 coming out, they came out with a new Wi-Fi standard and a new Bluetooth standard and a new improved version of the 2 gigabit Ethernet standard. The X570s don't have those. The B550s do. So you're gonna get better internet connection and better Bluetooth connection with the B550s than you would with the X570s.
Hey, does Asus still have the Republic of Gamers series products?
Yeah, the ROG. If anytime you see Asus ROG, that's what it is.
I have no clue what that is.
That's the
They're higher end promoted products.
yeah. It's
Oh, okay,
Those,
okay.
those are a crossover with Republic of Gamers, which is it's a gamers group essentially.
Yeah, that's
And-
why I have
and-
no clue what it is.
Yeah, the top of the line Asus stuff all has ROG on it, basically as a gimmick kind of thing. Whereas the lower priced will have either have Prime or Tough on it.
See, I like
they-
G Web's explanation of Asus better. Because in my luck, I'll go buy like a $350 motherboard, and that's about where they'll stick it to me.
Yeah, when I after I use my money that I've been saving up for the desktop basically, which is the Mac Mini. That's really all I'm gonna need. Although I know for some people a laptop would be a good option. But
Hey.
this way at least I'll be able to connect two screens. They're larger because my eyes are not what they used to be. And then just the wireless, or I don't know if I have the wireless keyboard and the mouse, but I'd probably get something that's a little more plugged in because I have a keyboard cover for it, so it's protected.
I just thought of the perfect YouTube video challenge. Take your old computer out to the range and blast that thing up like Paul Harrell's Meat Target. And you could be like, look, pull it out like here's a hard drive and stick your fingers in it, and it went through there, and it was stopped by the back panel of the case.
Yeah, there's a problem with doing that though, man. I still have legacy software that runs on those old PCs. That's why I have them. If I'm going to fire up Baldur's Gate one day, I have to pull out one of my old XP machines.
Well, if I'm ever in your neighborhood, let me know. I'll throw you some disk drives.
Well, if they're Apple disk drives, they won't work.
No. They're regular PC hard drives.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a couple of external CD-ROMs also that don't work. So you're welcome to blow the crap out of those.
Yeah, I think I'll start it, man. I think I'll set up some hard drives and see if a 9mm can go through at least one of them.
Yeah. Gary,
I'm pretty sure they can.
Gary out there, he says he's been running a Mac Mini for several years and it works great.
No, I know. I just happen to not have upgraded my computer for the last 14 years. And I've been saving up, so that's what I'm getting to replace it.
Yeah, you can even get things like that with Windows now on PC.
Yeah.
The NUCs, little tiny things.
Oh no, I wouldn't. For me, that's like a gimmick, a toy. I know they work for some people depending on if they're programming or stuff.
The NUC is just the main thing with the NUC is you have your RAM and your CPU in one thing. You plug that into the motherboard, into the board, the main board on the thing.
Right.
Then you can put whatever video card, if you want to put a video card in there with it and whatnot. They're small little boxes.
Right, but again, they're limited as to what they can do. Also.
Yeah, they use but generally some of them they use laptop hardware, laptop CPU.
Yeah,
laptop.
I would. I mean, yeah, if you're into programming or like old ass games and stuff, I would recommend it. But other than that, for me personally, it's just a gimmick.
Yeah, the NUC. Well, a lot of people use the NUC and hook it to their TV. They use it as an entertainment center.
Yeah. Where they connect the external hard drive and they have their movies and
exactly
all music and all that stuff, and they play everything through the TV.
Yeah, that's what most people that get one of those use it for.
My friend bought like a 8 or 10 drive server, and he uses that as his entertainment system. So he's got a buttload of movies, a buttload of music, all on the hard drives, and he doesn't even have a TV. Just like me, I got rid of my TV server, so that's what he uses, and also it has access to the internet.
Yeah, TVs generally anymore they do. You got a smart TV, you have an internet device right there.
I
Right.
just went and checked out and pulled up the AMD processors over on Micro Center, and I'm pretty sure that Threadripper is just a little far out of my budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they're mainly for business use, but
For servers, for business servers, yeah.
well, no, the Threadripper's not. The Threadripper isn't the server CPU.
It may as
Epic
well
is-
be.
No, Epic is the server software. It's the server.
I know people that are using the Ripper,
Yeah,
and
people
it
use them
works
for server.
good.
Yeah, they work good for servers, but those are actually the high-end CPUs that AMD
Yeah.
has for like Hollywood studio, or if you're doing like professional.
Making movies
movie
and stuff like
editing.
that, or recordings with a keyboard, or professional music equipment that's connected to the computer.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Threadripper. Yeah, that's definitely not in my
Yeah.
budget as well.
no, you're talking the top of the line Threadripper. We were talking about this earlier. It's a 64 core, 128 thread CPU.
Yeah,
To
that's
put
no
this in
joke.
perspective, folks, if you don't know what that means, each core on a CPU is the equivalent of when there were single core CPUs.
I'll tell you what it means. It means $3,400 for a processor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, yeah, but if you're doing the work that is meant for, you can afford it. I mean, if you got all kinds of money and it's just burning a hole in your pocket, like if you're a multi-millionaire, the price of that CPU isn't going to hurt you any. You know what I mean? If you got the money and you want a 64 core CPU for a gaming computer, knock yourself out. It ain't going to help you any. I mean, if you want to get realistic about it.
I mean, Jason, if you look at when you go to the main page and you just press desktops, I mean, their prices are pretty decent for those like smaller desktop, whether it's the HP or the Dell. I mean, if you want something basic, these are actually pretty good machines. I mean, if you're looking for higher end stuff to do gaming and stuff, you might want an i7 or higher, but these are i5s.
Well,
And
the i5s now are a 6-core, 12-thread CPU. They're good for gaming.
And they're running at $200-$300. I mean, that's not a bad replacement.
I'm looking at them on the AMD Ryzen style. 8 cores, which would probably be more than enough to suit me, and running at 3.6 gig, and it's like $279.
Yeah, that's the 3700X, right?
That's about mine. Yeah, 3700X.
That's the one my daughter has.
There's actually
jump
one
to
here
12 cores, probably not worth
don't
the
need the
extra
12
money
cores.
at 400.
No,
There's
the
an
3900,
HP.
You really wouldn't need that. I mean, if you're doing sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, John.
There's an HP. It's refurbished. It's an 810 Pro. It's a 7800B. It's 3.5 gigs, 16 gigs of memory. I mean it comes with a Radeon R7 graphics. So I mean, for $250 to replace an older desktop, $250 is actually really good.
Yeah, but the problem is when you see them written where it's Ryzen, where it's written like that with the graphics in a laptop, that's going to be on the CPU. It's not
Right,
going to be.
but that's still a
graphic.
good chipset, and it does work.
Yeah, if you're wanting a basic computer that you can just like do, watch videos and stuff on, that'd be perfect for like an older person who's not going to be doing video editing. If you're doing video editing or something, you're going to want something that has a discrete video card because it's going to go through that video, the processing very much and rendering much faster.
I mean, if you want an all-in-one, the HP with the all-in-one, with the camera you press from the top and it comes out. I mean, that's $800. If you got $800, that's a good machine too. But again, if you're limited in budget, a lot of these machines are really good for what they're charging.
G-Web's out there is talking about he loves his widescreen monitor.
Yeah.
I was just wondering what size we're talking about. I always found something around like 26 inches to be most comfortable for me. Because when you're on a computer a lot all day or gaming, the less movement I have to do of my head from side to side to catch everything on the screen or my eyeballs, it just seems to wear me out. Like 2 monitors back in the day, I thought, oh, I'm kicking and I'm great. It wear you out. You know what I mean? I'd rather have everything in front of me, and I don't want to have to move my mouse physically too much around on my desk to get from screen edge to screen edge.
Jason, I have a 24-inch LG TV I use as my secondary monitor for my laptop. Since my screen on my laptop is 14 years old, it's not as great. I have a 24-inch LG monitor. I could use it alone, or I could have both screens on at the same time. But I mean, yeah, 24-inch screen with a TV, you can get something. If you have like a computer stores near you and they actually sell the floor model, try to get that, because I mean they work.
Yeah, my daughter, she has a LG. I forget the model because LG uses goofy combination of letters and numbers, which basically all monitor companies do anymore. But it's a 27-inch 1440p.
The monitor is something I never tried to skimp on price. I would go with the very best picture, the color quality, the brightness, the best monitor I could get, because that is always going to be compatible with any computer you get in the future. So
Correct.
I always feel like putting the most of your money into a good monitor is your best benefit.
And most of the 1080 is already an older technology, so you get something with 1080.
1080
I mean, you're good to go.
Yeah, 1080 is out on its way out the door. Like right now. Yeah,
but it still works.
Yeah, it still works, but that technology is on its way out. The only
if you could find 1080p TVs in any electronics store, I mean, they should be going for nothing right now. Because I bought mine 5 years ago, 24-inch 1080p, $70, and it was it was on the floor for people to play with, but there was nothing wrong with it. The only thing that didn't come with it was the stand, and I don't care because I have it on an arm, so the arm is adjustable.
Yeah,
$70.
Yeah, they're starting to come out with 8K stuff, and if you don't know what that means, okay, 1080p is, well, it started with 720p. The first HD stuff was 720p. That's not even 1K. Then you had the 1080p, which was a little bit over 1K. Then you had 1440p, which is like 1.5K, something like that. And then you got you got 4K TVs, but the resolution on a 4K TV is over 2,000, right? 8K is over 4,000 resolution.
And you need a kind of a pricey video card to handle that at 100%.
Oh,
yeah.
That's where the new video cards come in. The NVIDIA's new 3080 video card.
Right, but we're talking for Jason, though. It's got to be a little more budget than that, though.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm not totally budget guy. I prefer, maybe not top shelf, but just the shelf below it.
Yeah. Clover says, "What about 1080i?" 1080i was just about the same thing as 720. That's why I just skipped over it.
Just go to 1080p.
Yeah, 1080i wasn't as good as 1080p. 1080i was roughly the equivalent of 720p.
I might even, before I get my Mac Mini to have, I might even get like one of these PCs. They have an HP Elite with an AMD 810, 8 gigs of memory, $130. I might just get that just for the hell of it, just to have something on the side.
And Gary says, unless your monitor takes up your whole wall, 1080p is all you need. Unless you're playing the newer video games.
And I don't do that, so I don't need it. But
Yeah, I know,
Jason,
but-
Jason, you're a gamer, right?
If you're playing the newer video games,
Not any
there-
longer. That was in a previous lifetime. Like I
There
said,
is
now
a-
I'm the old man.
yeah, there
Okay,
is
so
a
now you can
definite-
save a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a definite difference if you're playing the newer video games when you go from 1080p to 4K. I mean, it's night and day difference. It really, really is. It's like I wish I could afford a computer right now that could do 4K gaming, because that is just, I don't know if you've even seen it or not. There's a place here that has demonstrations on it, and man, I tell you what, that 4K gaming is like mind blown. You know what I mean? And they're already working on 8K for that kind of stuff. It's like, holy cow, you gotta be kidding me. But what were we talking about?
Well, I'm seeing video cards are usually, I'm looking at maybe a little higher than they used to be years ago, but only by maybe $50 to $100. So
Yeah, but remember, like I was saying, right now is not the time to be CPU or video card shopping. Those
Yeah,
prices,
just wait for the new stuff to come out. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
like I
And
said,
it's
I
not
was
that-
always
when
like a year-old kind of guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
like,
Rich, when are the shows coming out for the new updated stuff?
oh, they've already started releasing new stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, the Nvidia just put out the 3090 and the 3080, the new ones. The 3080 just completely and totally is heads and above the old 2080 Ti on the desktop video cards, and it's a little more than half the price. Like the 2080 Ti, you were looking at a $1,200 video card, right? The 3080, which is 33% more powerful, which in gaming, that's a lot from one generation to the next, is a $700 video card. The 3070 is projected to be a $500 card. That's going to be at or more powerful than the 2080 Ti. You're looking at a $700 price difference from one generation to the next. You don't see that where power level stays on equal terms like that, where you get that big of a discount normally. That just doesn't happen.
So I was always the NVIDIA fanboy over ATI, and I'm seeing here 2060 cards, 6 gigs, $309. Is that about right? I see. Well, there's some ones with the fancy fans on it here for $350, but
Yeah, which you want. Those fancy fans keep that card cooler, and it makes it where if you wanted to overclock the card, you could overclock it more, or it'll extend the life of that card because it keeps the components cooler.
yeah, they say overclocked on it right now. Triple fan,
Yeah, that's
6
a factory
gig.
overclock. Yeah.
$350. And that is the ROG Strike Evo overclocked.
On which card?
RTX 2060.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, right now I wouldn't be buying one of those right now. That's a good card. Normally,
Yes.
that's a good card. But with NVIDIA already rolling out their new stuff and AMD set to start rolling out their new stuff next month or into December, right now is not the time to be buying those. It really isn't. That's why I'm saying if you're going to price anything right now, you want to be looking at your motherboards and your memory. Oh, gee, what making jokes out there. I feel like if a video card needs a fan, it's being lazy. Just do your job. No one is paying you to be comfortable.
Okay, I'm seeing memory at like stupidly cheap prices for top-notch memory.
Yeah, memory prices are not that high right now. They're a little bit higher than what they were, but everything. Oh, damn. Got flummy for a second. Everything, computer wise, hardware wise, as far as the internal processors and everything, is up a little bit because that all comes from Asia, and with COVID and everything, that's driven the prices up a little bit on everything, which is again why it's not a good time to be buying a CPU or a video card. Even if you want to go with the previous generation, like if you want to go with a 3600, you're still better off waiting a couple months for the prices on those to come back and normalize from what they are right now. Because right now you're paying $30 to $50 more for like a 3600 than what you would have back in March or February. So
Yeah, I'm seeing memory prices so cheap that it's not even a concern. 32 gigs of, where'd it go? 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance.
Oh, you're talking about the first one for 142.
Yeah, it's $142.99.
yeah, that's not bad.
And it has the pretty
What-
lights on there too.
Yeah, what speed is that?
Yeah.
What speed is that?
That is
PC4 25 600.
Oh,
Oh,
that's-
DDR4 3200.
3200. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the minimum of what you're going to want.
That's on the low end now. DDR4.
Yeah, that's on the
Yeah.
low end. If the AMDs, the faster the RAM, the better they work with it. So that's about what you want. That's what my daughter, I believe, has in hers is 3200. That's right below the sweet spot. The sweet spot's more in like the 34 to 3600, but that 3200 will work perfectly.
And they got them from all brands, from Crucial, which is really good, Corsair, which is good. So yeah, you definitely have your options of stuff you can buy now. But like Rich was saying, hold off on the processor for now.
Yeah, to hold off on your CPU and your GPU, your video card. Right now, though, it's not a buyer's market for those two. But motherboard, RAM, or memory, if you prefer.
But again,
SSD.
if you're not looking for the latest and greatest, there's still stuff available out there at
Yeah,
decent
but
prices for what they are.
I
gotta drop
would
out a
hold off.
second. I'll be right back. I gotta let my dog out, and he's about as slow as 16-bit. So I'll be right back.
Right.
16-bit is still pretty fast.
Not really.
It was
Everything's on
8-bit.
64.
If he was
Everything's on
8-bit, then he'd
64.
be screwed.
Well,
Oh, did you talk to him about power supplies?
we haven't got to that either.
Okay.
But right now, power supplies the prices on those are up too. That's another thing
Yeah.
you might want to hold off on. But as far as the CPU, even with the budget CPUs, man, right now you don't want to buy one of those either because the prices are elevated. You want to wait for the price to normalize. 'Cause like I said, you're paying $30 to $50 more because of this COVID crap with on CPUs across the board.
Okay, he said he's not gaming with it, right?
Right.
What's he doing with it?
He's talking
Standard.
about streaming and video editing is what we were
Okay.
talking about.
Then what you guys are telling him is overkill. You keep trying to sell him a gaming system that my teenage son would want when he doesn't need that. I'm not saying that buying that would be bad from the standpoint of, it's not going to work. It's going to work in some, but you guys keep. Well, John, you keep pushing the cheap stuff, which will work, but it's cheap. And Rich, you keep pushing a gaming system to run the latest, greatest first-person shooter video game.
Except
I'm
if
letting
you
you know
look, here's the thing you look at, Squib. With the newer stuff, it's made for both video editing and video gaming. If you have a good video card, it's going to render and process that video faster than what the lower quality video card is going to do.
And I'm not pushing quite the quote unquote, as you say, cheap stuff. I'm just pushing for getting stuff that's available now at low prices already because it's been out for some time. All the kinks have been worked out. and it's going to last them at least another 5, 6, 7 years, if not more. And it's stuff that works.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not telling them to go out there and buy the greatest either. I'm telling them to hold off right now because the prices are up on everything because of COVID. It's got everything up. And the newer stuff, when it comes up, it's going to be better than what's out there now. That's all I'm telling them to do is just hold off, wait and see what the prices on the CPU and the GPU are going to be in a couple months from now when things are normalized and you have the newer stuff out there more.
Who the heck knows when things are going to go back normalized? Like doing quotes
it's only
again.
going to be a couple.
Hey guys, I got a question for y'all.
What's up, Buck?
That gaming card y'all keep talking about, is that something that's built in the computer, or is it something you can add on later?
You're talking about the gaming video card?
Yeah.
Okay, the video card, if you buy a pre-built, it'll already be in there. If you build your own, you can put that in there yourself. You can put whatever you want in there. They are changeable.
Yeah, and you can shut off the onboard.
Well, the
Yeah.
AMDs don't come with onboard. The AMDs, for if you want one with onboard, it's going to be one of the U series. It's going to have a U at the end, and those are generally not going to be as good as the CPU at this point.
Right.
Well, usually if it's an onboard video card, it's actually using your processor's power to do some of the work. And when you have a separate card
Video
itself added on, it's doing its processing on its own. So you get better performance and better gaming and better all around performance if you have a separate card.
But
Now,
again,
it may
if you're
take some more
into
power
gaming,
supply, but it is. I've never really preferred onboard video for anything. I mean, if you're just going to cruise the internet and that's it, yeah, you'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
and even if you're not gaming, you can still buy a decent card just to do what you need to, just a little better, without paying the gaming prices.
What I was saying before StreamYard shut off my phone, StreamYard is shit, okay? StreamYard and GunTube, neither one of they can't make it work with a fucking mobile device. Is it really that hard? Is it really that hard?
How far are you away from the power lines?
I'm not a fucking computer guy, but damn. You sit at a fucking desk all day with a Mountain Dew and a Hot Pocket. Figure it the fuck out. Make it work with a phone.
I bet you Squid was talking for like 10
leave
minutes.
it alone.
I bet you Squid was talking for like 10 minutes. He locked them off. He didn't realize it.
No, I watched the screen die. I had to do a hard reboot on the phone to get it back up.
Ooh, ouch.
And this isn't the first time that this has happened with StreamYard. It'll do all kinds of crazy shit. That's all right. When I switch over to GunTube, that'll work fine for a couple weeks, and that'll start doing crazy shit. So then I'll jump back over to StreamYard, and that'll work. And then just take turns. Suck it. Okay? Damn. Anyhow, what I was saying is, I've got a system that I put together about 6 years ago. And 6 years ago, it would have been close to top of the line for gaming. Okay? And I use it for surfing the web, watching videos, editing videos, moving a lot of stuff between a lot of hard drives. And I've had a few issues with it that I've tweaked it a little bit and it's fixed the issues. And being 6 years old, it's perfectly fine. Now, I haven't used it to run a show. I've been on a show, but I've never ran a show with it. So that may be the point where I go, okay, it needs to be upgraded. And I'm not saying it'll last forever. 6 years is a little bit old for a computer for me. However, because I'm not doing any gaming on it, not even Flight Simulator or any of that crap, it's perfectly fine for everything I do. I'm not like waiting all day for it to save changes to a movie or a video or whatnot. I mean, it's just not a thing. Now, my kid, on the other hand, he would use that computer as a doorstop because he's always playing the games. We built a computer last year. He told me everything he wanted. I bought him all the parts. We put it together. He had it a week and goes, "This computer's shit." It's not fast enough. What do you mean it's not fast? I bought all the stuff you told me. Yeah, I know. That's what I wanted, but now I want something different. Yeah. So I've considered buying him the other stuff and taking his new computer as my replacement, but it's going to be overkill for making YouTube videos. So all I'm saying is, if you need a newer computer because you have an older one, or you want to kind of update to keep up with the times, and you can get a deal on something that'll do fine and will last you years for video editing, but it's not going to work with a first-person shooter game next year. If the first-person shooter game is not in your wheelhouse, then what's the big deal? So you get a little bit of both. You get a little bit of getting a new old stock part that you can keep using for the next 5 years and save some money on it. But you also get some newer parts, some of the more up-to-date stuff that's compatible with it, so that if you do have to make changes, it's simple as plug and play. I think you could get a little bit of both. But if you have other plans for this computer, or you think at some point somebody else might be using it and needing more stuff, then I would say definitely always overbuild. But I don't know. It just kind of sounds like John's kind of going really cheap, and Rich is trying to sell you something you're never going to use.
Except that's not what I'm doing. Like I said, I've been telling him not to buy certain things right now because prices are elevated, and two, the newer stuff's coming out.
Right, but when the new stuff comes out, sometimes it's unobtainium and the prices are really high.
That's why I'm telling him to wait a few months.
The current stuff,
wait a few months before buying the new stuff, or even looking at the old stuff.
Okay, or buying the current stuff at a lower price because now nobody wants
it. That's what I was telling him, to wait, not to buy that.
I misunderstood you.
Yeah, CPU and GPU, you want to hold off right now. You do not want to buy either one of those right now. But for his motherboard and RAM and stuff like that, now would be the time to buy that stuff, because those are at a fairly decent price.
I've bought the latest, greatest, and been disappointed when a year later it's practically obsolete. I mean, it still works, but it's like, dang, if I'd only waited a year. The only thing is, the next year it's obsolete. The next year it's obsolete.
You just have to buy something that's upgradable.
Well, and that's just it. Some of it you can upgrade, and you can swap out RAM or whatnot, and different things like that. If your computer starts running hotter, you can add extra cooling to it. But I mean, you're talking to him about overclocking and stuff, and I'm not against overclock. I don't do it myself. I'm not against it. But if you're not running games, you don't need to overclock.
Well, no, he was asking why they have the fans that they had on the video card.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew why. I was just pointing out the examples I seen for sale, and that's what they were.
Yeah, all I was saying is the 3-fan video cards, those are generally the way you want to go, because it helps keep the heat down and it'll make your video card last longer. Because the heat will kill a video card.
Heat'll kill everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Water cooled, baby.
That's not even necessary anymore, really. If
Well,
you're not,
what do they use? They use ethyl glycol or some sort of alcohol, right? Or they use liquid nitrogen.
if you're doing the super extreme overclocking, yeah. But if you're just doing simple, normal stuff, an air cooler will do you just fine. My daughter, she's using the box cooler that came with her 3700X.
Yeah, but if you can run, well, even, just air cooled, but if you can run a water cooler or something and be able to keep that fan noise down, that's what's important to me. I can't stand hearing fan noise in the background.
Here's the thing, even with her using the stock cooler that came with it, it doesn't make a lot of noise.
I always find my cases with the sound material.
You brought up something that kind of exemplifies what Rich is talking about. The newer fans are quieter. Both my kids' computers are a year old, and they're a lot quieter than my 6-year-old computer. We just turned up the TV for my computer, but I mean, that's really not it's like turning up the radio on your car to fix the problem, right? So any of the newer fans should be, or at least the higher end fans should be quieter.
Yeah, they get the bearings that they use in those things now and the sheathing and stuff. It just makes those things so much quieter than what they used to be.
And the variable speed too.
Variable speed.
You get them hot and doing some good gaming, they'll rev up. But under just normal load, they should be quiet. Or sometimes not even turn at all.
Yeah, to your point, right now my laptop is relatively quiet right? If I wanted, I can open up a program that will make the fans on this laptop very audible. Where is it? Where is it? Where is my speed fan app? There it is. Let me just to show you. Okay, if you're hearing the fan right now, it's probably the bathroom fan. That's what Sarge is always complaining about. He's turning the, off in his bathroom.
Oh, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Well, no, when the cats go, the fan comes in handy.
Ew. Well,
Anybody
nasty
who's got
cats.
cats. But yeah,
Got some nasty cats there. Ooh.
now if you're starting to hear fan noise, that's my laptop fans because I just set them to run at 100.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
hear them revved up.
Yeah, but they're still relatively quiet. They're still nowhere near as loud as what an even older laptop than what the fans would have been, or even desktops would have been. But yeah, I just set these manually at 100%. So they're going full tilt right now. Now I just cut the one back to 50 and the other one back to 50. And you notice how quieter it is? And that's generally what I keep it running at. It's around 50. Now, there's video cards out there that if you're not doing heavy load, the fans won't even turn on them.
Because the heatsink is kind of doing its own thing anyway.
Yeah. A lot of them will only start turning the fan on once it reaches a certain temperature.
So what kind of cases do you like? You like just the plain solid, a black case, or do you like the windows and the lights and all that stuff?
My son has the one that got all the fancy lights in it. It did look very pretty. I liked it.
Yeah. They get carried away with the RGB lighting anymore.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Red, green, blue, by the way, is RGB. Not to be confused with RBG, which was Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't know how many times lately I've been watching a video or looking at a comment somebody made on like Facebook or Instagram or something. And instead of saying RBG, they're saying RGB. They're confusing their Supreme Court justices with their computer parts.
So, I mean, the only thing really you need to consider with the case is whether you're going to have a standard size motherboard or a mini ATX motherboard and how many slots you need in there. So, for example, how many internal drives?
And DVD drives are a thing of the past now, right?
You can still get them.
Yeah. People still use it. I mean, they still write CDs. I know people who still writing to CDs.
Very few of your new cases are going to have where you can put an internal, but you can always get an external.
Right. I mean, but the thumb drives are so cheap. If you were just for just to back up stuff, just to have stuff to like private files or financial files and stuff, thumb drives you can buy 3-pack for like $30 and have like massive amounts of space just on those.
Yeah. We got a 4 terabit external hard drive around here somewhere that cost under $100 when my daughter bought it.
Do you have that set up as one drive or do you have that set up as several drives?
She's using it for something. I'm not sure how she's got it set up.
I always partitioned mine down smaller.
Yeah, you can.
And I used to run in RAID before the solid state drives came out.
Yeah.
I just always preferred RAID, like RAID 0. And I always partitioned them just so each drive was smaller, search time goes down, and it's a lot easier to organize things.
Since a lot of the parts in my desktop, not my desktop, my laptop went bad, I just bought an external hard drive holder, and it could hold up to 4 SSD cards in there. So that's what I have. I have 4 SSD drives external to the computer, and one of the drives is my operating system. So that's how I'm able to even use my computer, and it's just through the USB port.
My operating system's on my SSD. So. And the hard drive, I have mostly data.
I mean, if you want to shell out the money, I mean, you have drives and memory cards, like the E class drives or whatever they're called. I forgot. I mean, they take up less space. They run cooler too. But for me, I just don't need it.
Mm-hmm. On the RBG thing, G Web said she was the first killer Supreme Court justice. They were all just grayscale before.
RBG, yeah. Oh, that's why you're saying RBG. I was wondering, just like it's RGB, not RBG. It was just like, okay, now I get it.
You didn't catch the joke I made?
I did not get it because I was just like, why is he saying RBG?
Supreme Court justices and computer parts, because
Yeah,
you go on certain threads, comment threads on videos on YouTube, and people are saying RGB instead of RBG.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, man, that's just respect. She was such an inspiration to the women in this country. Was that Mario Brothers? What was that?
Yeah.
Jump.
Boink, 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 boink.
Boink, boink, boink. Yeah.
Boink, boink.
Wah, 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 wah. Oh, man. Yeah. Speaking of 8K, the old 8K Mario Brothers game.
G out there's got a good way to save your passwords. Did you read his comment?
What did he say? If you say your joke, don't pause and explain it. USB mini drive backup. Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah. The problem was Snob. He didn't hear the joke. I had to say it again, because he didn't explain to him what G-Web's joke was about, because he missed the whole thing to begin with.
Yeah. I'm like that. I had a few too many beers. Sorry.
It's more of a case of John being John than me telling a nice straight joke.
And his hoppy beer.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So where the hell were we before we got off track? I don't even remember at this point.
Processor cores. And then you started with the video cards.
Yeah.
And then G said, and then what's his name came on? Where did he go? He's gone again.
Not Snob, Squib.
Yeah, he left again.
Snob instead of Squib. He's having trouble. Him and StreamYard don't get along sometimes.
Then Squib came on saying, you're telling him to buy too expensive. I'm telling him to buy too cheap. And now we're here.
Yeah. Okay. But if you wanted to build something and you're not going to be gaming, and you want it for budget video editing, excuse me, I would tell you to go with a 3600 and a 2060. But with the new stuff, I wouldn't do any of that. I would just get the motherboard, RAM, memory, what we've already talked about.
An 8 core would be plenty.
More than enough for you, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the 3700X, if that's what you wanted to go. Yeah, that's a good CPU too. but I wouldn't go with the 2700X because you're going to pay about the same amount for that as you would the 3700X right now. So it's just not worth it. The 1700 isn't worth it either way because those just aren't as good.
Kingpin, see what he said.
Well, yeah, you see what Gary said right above him.
That's interesting.
But if you can hold off, I would. Like I said on CPU, and we've said it multiple times already, but you get the idea. Right now is not the time to be buying CPUs or GPUs. Motherboards, stuff like that, fine. GPUs and CPUs, no, hold off. Do not buy now on those. Brings us to power supplies. Power supply, you're going to be anywhere between, for what you're needing, anywhere between a 550 watt
to 750 or 800.
Yeah, it's about 750.
Okay. See,
But
I'll say like what, maybe like 10 years ago, we were up in those voltages, and then things kind of dropped down a little bit. So now they're like back up, requiring higher voltage.
Yeah, you're not needing something that's going to run 850, 950 to even a
I would go
1,000 watts.
I would go 550, 600 max for you. I don't think.
I mean, unless you're planning on getting a 3090.
No. That's out of
Yeah, those things. Depending on which one you get, will be 480 watts by itself. Just the video card. But I mean, if you're going with if you're just going with like a 2060 or even a 3060 when they come out with those, you're not going to need anything more than a 550, 650 watt power supply. If you go with a silver or a gold would probably be better. The efficiency is going to be better.
Or you could find
Seasonic still a good brand.
What is
Seasonic?
Yeah, Seasonic is good. Seasonic actually makes a lot of the other companies' power supplies and slap their label on them.
Or you could just get a case with a built-in power supply that already comes with one.
Well, no, you wouldn't want to do that because those power supplies usually aren't that great.
It depends on the case that you get.
And
when the name is only made in China.
Yeah. Well, most of this, don't forget, most of the stuff is made in China.
Yeah, but I mean, when there's not even a company name on it, it's just made in China.
It's called No Name. No Name made in China,
Stay away from those.
With a crooked sticker that says made in China.
Half the stickers printed, the other half didn't print quite well.
I don't remember exactly what the Thermaltake budget power supplies are called, but you'll know it because it screams budget by the name on it. Stay away from those. If you're going to go with a Thermaltake, you want to get the tough power ones.
I mean, Thermaltake has cases. I'm sure some of them would come with power supplies. No,
the only way there's only a handful of cases anymore that come with a power supply, and they're all going to be ITX, which is
so they're not cheap. Or they're 150 watts, which is useless.
Well, no, you can get 750, 850 watt power supplies that go in an ITX case. The problem is they're going to cost you more money.
Yeah, like $300-400 just for those things.
Yeah, but I'm sure when you go to the ultimate cheap lowest price power supplies, just because it says it's 650 watt doesn't mean that's what you're getting.
Yeah, that's where you have to be careful.
Yeah, you don't want for power supplies. Corsair's good.
EVGA, Seasonic.
Yeah, EVGA, Seasonic.
You said Corsair already?
Yeah, Corsair.
Okay.
Thermaltake Tough Power. Those are good ones.
EVGA has been out a long time. Those are good.
Yeah. PC Power and Cooling used to be good, but now you don't even find those anymore. They were bought by OCZ, and I don't know what happened from there, but
OCZ makes pretty decent drives.
Yeah. Well, I don't even see drives anymore with their
Really?
Yeah. I haven't seen anything with the OCZ name on it for a little while now. But I got one of the old PC Power and Cooling CPUs right before they were bought by OCZ. Man, that thing is 10 years old and it's still trucking along with that. problem. But yeah, Corsair, Seasonic, EVGA, Thermaltake Tough Power. Stick with those 4 and you'll be good.
Is ATX been phased out?
No, ATX
No.
is still the standard.
ATX is still the standard?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I got power supplies then.
Yeah, if you got a ATX power supply, then you're good.
I have a couple Seasonics that I know are 7 or 800s.
Oh, so you're
brand
good.
new in the box, and I think I got a OCZ that's maybe a straight 700, maybe a 750, and it's never been used.
Yeah,
So when I
you
used to
said
be
it.
into it, I had stuff, but
yeah, I
if
would
they're
use
still
the-
on ATX, well then
Yeah.
I think I got some stuff for that.
Yeah, I would use the Seasonics. The OCZ ones could be hit or miss.
Yeah, I got it on I got it on like a bundled deal, I think, with a video card,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe I think it was a video card, or maybe it was a solid state drive of one of theirs. But I know I got Seasonics unused because I was building a PC one time for somebody else, and then they backed out on it. And in fact, I just saw them where they're at in my basement just like a couple weeks ago. I had a small flood. I had a small flood one time here a couple weeks ago. And,
Sorry to hear that. That sucks.
It happens here at my house once every 10 years, but we had one hell of a downpour for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And something happened. The little float got stuck on my sump pump and stopped my sump pump from working. And I checked on it in the morning, and the water was up 1.5 steps on my basement. It was inside my furnace. It shut off my water heater, and it took about 3 or 4 hours to pump it out, because the sump pump would run about 15-20 minutes and the cord would be so hot I had to shut it off. But it's all good. That only happens here about like I said, it's like a once every 10 years disaster. But I'd done what it was, the little float in the shaft, and it gets wet, and then it gets a little bit of that green corrosion on it, and it gets sticky. So I just had to clean all that up, and hopefully it'll be good for a while.
Now, here's the thing: if you do go with the one of the B550 motherboards, keep in mind that while they will have the new what is it? The PCI Express 4, which is the new standard. The only one of the SSD slots that's going to use that one is going to be the top one. So keep that in mind. The other ones are going to be either PCI 3, and if you have the third one's going to be a SATA. So, SATA, whatever you want. Some people will pronounce some won't. So say it both ways. But so keep that in mind. You're going to want to put your whichever one of your fastest SSDs, as far as the little card-shaped ones, in that
first
top slot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top, not first. Top. Whatever direction you're holding the board in.
Well, they go across right to left. So. And then, 1, 2, 3 down the board. Well, in most B550s will only be 2. Unless you go with the most expensive of the gigabyte ones, then you'll have 3. But still, that's only a $250 motherboard. That's not a bad motherboard. You're going to have really good wireless internet on that.
So
thing.
what would you say should be the minimum for your motherboard?
Minimum?
Yeah. Features aside, what would you say should be the minimum for the motherboard as far as what's out now? So you almost can guarantee you get everything you need, not too much and not too little.
I would just go with a B550. Like I was saying, if he's going to...
No, as far as price goes.
Well, let me finish on that, man. Because and the B550s will run anywhere for a good one, will run anywhere between $150 to $250.
Okay. And that's something that you'll be able to upgrade for many years to come, right?
This is going to be the last AMD series that's going to run on that socket. When they come out with the AMD just changed their naming platform because of confusion. So the even numbers are going to be laptop CPUs now, and the odd are going to be
Desktop.
desktop. Yeah. So when you get to the 7000 series, which is going to be a couple years down the road yet, you're going to run into a new socket for those. But if you go with one of the 5000 series, if you wait a few months and you get like a 5600, which is going to, or 5700X, which is going to be the new mid-tier budget CPU, the one's going to hit that sweet spot where it's going to be the best of both worlds, basically performance to cost. That's going to last you for years. So you're not going to, you're not going to have to worry about upgrading that anytime soon anyway.
Well, man, I might take your suggestions and go to AMD once again. It's been a long time since I was an AMD fanboy. And if I'm not happy, man, we're going to have a live stream. I'm going to stomp the shit out of this.
No, the new AMDs are good. I mean, for a while there, we were talking before we went live. AMD was better than Intel in the early 2000s. And then somewhere around 2006, 2007, AMD started slipping and Intel passed them again.
Yeah, but now they're comparative.
The Athlon days.
Yeah. And then Intel started getting complacent and really didn't innovate anymore. They just kept recycling the old silicon basically, and just adding more cores to them. Right? You go from the 6700 series to the 10,000 series, they're almost identical CPU silicon. They just changed the number of cores. That's all they did. And to keep you from being able to use your old motherboard, they make the chip where it reads one or two things differently so that it can't be used in it. Even though it uses the exact same socket, it won't interact with the motherboard properly. So you can't use the new CPUs on the old motherboards, which is, another way for them to get more money. For every motherboard that, say, Asus or Gigabyte makes with that Intel socket on there, Intel gets a piece of that money. You know what I mean? So it's one of the things that Intel's
just in the
done.
just in the color scheme of things, Intel's still blue, right? And
Yeah.
AMD's red. Or
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't like to go blue, so I might just have to go red. I know that's not a wise way to make your decisions, but
Yeah.
I do live in Ohio, and there is this place up north.
What's your preference of
So-
green versus red?
Green's okay with me. I like green.
Okay, so you'd be okay with going with NVIDIA then. All right.
Yeah, you're right. NVIDIA was always green.
Yeah, NVIDIA's green, AMD's red. So green versus red versus blue.
Yeah, this is almost football season, and the
Well,
colors
almost football
blue
season.
and yellow absolutely turn my stomach. I don't have things. There's times I won't touch
Oh, yeah,
things
man. I
that are
thought
blue.
that was maize and yellow.
They don't know how to say yellow up there. So
Blue and
maize and blue, yes,
Yeah.
their way
maize
of
and blue.
doing things. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, I get superstitious about stuff, and it's just born in the culture here.
Yeah. But, Buck, you've been quiet for a while. You just been sitting back listening.
Hell yeah, because I don't know what the hell y'all talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at that laptop that you sent me the link to. That's
Yeah.
a 10-year-old laptop.
I don't care. It's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap, but your memory is going to be slower because that's on DDR3.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot older.
Yeah, you're gonna. I would recommend, especially if with it running Windows 10 Pro. I would want. I would tell you to get something newer.
All I'm gonna do is just do on videos and stuff, chats and
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, if you're
I
just
ain't doing nothing special with mine.
yeah, I got. If you look on eBay, too, you could find a refurb. Like I got a HP 2-in-1, 14-inch 2-in-1 that I paid around that much for, and it's got a better CPU in it and better RAM. It doesn't have the DVD drive, but it's got the same size hard drive. Everything else looks to be about the same. You're gonna have better Wi-Fi and Bluetooth with the newer ones too, which is gonna give you a better internet connection.
Now, where are you looking?
I'm looking at what Buck sent me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he sent me a link in email to the laptop he's looking at.
Okay.
And I can screen share it so everybody can see here in a second. So yeah, here's what he was looking at. But it's 15.6 inch. I mean, that's not the problem. But you got the 2400, 2410. Yeah, that's a 10-year-old CPU. The
Dell equals hell.
The RAM.
And how much is this? I can't see the price.
It's 290. It's
Okay,
not
so where I was, let me see over here where Micro Center has.
Yes. But with that running Windows 10, you're going to want DDR4. It's going to run better on DDR4 than it is on the than that DDR3.
Buck, you're looking to update your computer too?
Yeah, I'm trying to just get a laptop so I can move it around.
And what's your budget range?
Probably about $500-$600 maybe.
Okay, so if you look at the top page of Micro Center and you go to laptops, you'll see like $400 Dell Latitude, Intel Core i5 4300U, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gig solid drive. I mean, if you're not looking to do much, I mean, you can spend less than what your budget is.
All I want to do is get on some chats over in the room, get out of the living room here.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff here that meets your needs more than enough and even lowers your budget, so you're spending even less. But again,
well, is there a tablet or that can do all this?
A tablet?
No, I mean, is there tablets out there that can handle his needs?
Anymore, if you're going to go tablet, you might as well just go 2-in-1. To be perfectly honest, you're going to pay the same.
But you're going to spend money there. Yeah.
Your keyboard's going to be built in and everything.
But you might want something with an actual screen so he's able to see it a lot better.
Yeah, well, with a 2-in-1, you can use a 2-in-1 like a laptop or a tablet.
I don't know how well those would run if you're putting them in the same price bracket.
Oh no, I have one.
I do 99% of all my YouTube watching and chats off a Amazon Kindle Fire TV stick stuck in the back of a TV set.
Yeah, you can do that too. I mean,
$35, man.
But he's wanting something that's going to be mobile.
Yeah, I want to be able to go out there and do a live stream at the gun range, right out back.
Okay, so yeah, you would want a laptop, and you probably want to get a webcam for that too.
Yeah, I already got one on this one here I can use.
Okay. Yeah. Let me see. I don't really find anything that looks interesting on eBay.
Oh, Newegg has some decent deals sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to say Newegg. You might be able to find a decent Ryzen laptop on Newegg. The 4000 series Zen Ryzen CPUs in the laptops are really nice.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about with the 4300U.
Yeah, that
was a Ryzen chip.
Yeah, those that would work good for him, like a Ryzen, something with a Ryzen 3. If it's you want the 4000 series one, the 3200, the 3000 ones, they're no good. If you're gonna, but if it's a 4000 series, yeah, they're nice. For what Buck's looking for.
And they come with plenty of hard drive space. You needed extra hard drive space, just get yourself an external drive.
Yeah, I ain't doing much on video and editing and anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the option is there if you want. That's like upgrading your hard drive without having to, like, the most latest and greatest stuff.
Mhm.
You know, just buy a USB drive. What I have is just looks like a box it comes with a fan. It's a cover. You take it off, and then I put my SSD drives in 4 slots.
Mhm.
So that's my whole hard drive system right there. So I have like I was saying before, one is my system drive. The other one is the backup to the system drive, and then the other 2 are rated for each other.
Heck, you can go with
So
an
they're-
i3 for that matter. Now I think about it. I mean, an i3 is not going to be too much worse.
Yeah, but he's got an i5 over here with a Dell Latitude for 400.
Yeah, but the i3 is going to the newer i3s are going to be better than that. When
Than the
it
i5?
on Amazon. On that Amazon, the one that's on Amazon, that i5 2410, yeah.
No, it's not the i5 2410. It's the i5 4300 I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
okay. Well, yeah, even then, the i5 4300, the new i3s are going to be better.
Then the i5?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, they really are changing their name platform, whatever you want to call the names. Okay. But again, if his budget is between $400 and $500 and he can spend $400, then not saying be cheap, but for what you have to be honest about what you need it for,
Mhm.
And Buck was being honest about what he needed it for.
So what was his budget again? I'm like,
4 to
talking
5.
other stuff. How much?
I think it said 4 or 5 or 6 max,
Yeah.
maybe 5 max. I don't know.
Okay.
I would say if you have like a Micro Center near you, or if you have a Best Buy, their computer sections they have with open box stuff and whatnot. If you have a chance to go in there
Yeah.
one day and take a look at what they got, you probably most likely find something within your price range.
Yeah, I don't know if he has a Micro Center in his area or not.
No,
Yeah,
I'm saying if he has something.
Yeah,
The
I
Micro
got Best
Center-
Buy right up the road here.
Yeah, Best Buy, yeah, Micro Center, someplace like that. Micro Center is more computer oriented than what Best Buy is. That's why I said if you have a Micro Center, that would be the best.
Right, but Best Buy is multifaceted, but they still
Yeah,
have a main computer
Yeah, I know.
section too.
Yeah, I know. Staples would be another one you can go and check them out.
Listen, right now, I would suggest. I am very cautious about money, and even though it's not my money, I still want people to be cautious. So that's why I'm a little more reserved and saying, "Oh no, spend this now, spend that
Oh, yeah.
later."
I like Micro Center here in Columbus. I don't know if that's where it started or whatever, but I've done some remodel work for the guy who owns Micro Center, and I always found at least competitive price there, and I don't have to deal with shipping. And if you're so inclined, you can shop online, pay for it online, and
then
drive
pick it
to
up
the
in
store,
store?
and they will have a different checkout counter, and you just show them. You got to print out your
Receipt or whatnot.
receipt, and they'll have it like all ready for you. They'll have a whole shopping cart with like your name on it. There you go. You don't have to walk around and pick stuff out or nothing.
Although
deal
that's
with
fun to
salesmen.
do, also.
Yeah.
But when you look around, you end up spending more than you want anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if you can get like a 14-inch laptop, 14-inch 2-in-1, that might be your sweet spot, Buck. Get a 14-inch 2-in-1 with an i3 or a Ryzen 3 unit. That might
Have
be
they have the 2-in-1s really come down in price like that?
Yeah, I paid a little more than little under 400, I think, for mine. It's got an i3 with 8 gigs of RAM. And yeah, it's a 14
Because by me, I mean, like the cheapest 2-in-1 I've seen was like $1,200, and that's in the Best
top of the
Buy.
line ones. Yeah, you're gonna like if you're looking at like the Microsoft Surface.
Yeah,
one,
Microsoft stuff is going to be expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, or if you're looking at like one of the Asus ROG ones, yeah, you're gonna pay that much for them. But if you get a base model, like HP or Dell 13, 14-inch ones, they're not that much. You can even get a 15-inch one for not all that much, depending on what your budget is and everything.
And they still come with a webcam built in, or you need something external?
Yeah, they
Really?
have a webcam built in. Yeah,
Wow.
forward-facing webcam built in. But if you're going to be using it to make video at the range, you're going to want an external webcam so that you can turn it around. Have it face
Yeah,
down.
you don't want to move.
Yeah.
You don't want to move the actual 2-in-1 too much or drop it or something. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all keep in mind, I got an ammo addiction too.
Well, if it doesn't work, hey,
I
you
can
got something to shoot. But you're not going to get too much video out of it after you shoot it.
This is true.
might help my editing a little bit.
Yeah.
If you can wait a little bit more and add a little bit more to your budget, yeah, you definitely the Ryzen, the Zen 4000 series, man, those laptops are killer. They really are.
I might just buy a cheap one to take out on the range, just in case something does happen, and then just give me a new one for inside and stuff.
Mhm.
So you could take a look at the one on Micro Center. It's a Dell Latitude E7440. It's the 14-inch laptop.
I tell you what, man, I use my 14-inch 2-in-1. That's my upstairs laptop because I don't want to have to carry this monster Alienware up and down the stairs every night. I use it for like reading and stuff, like novels and comic books and stuff. That's what I use it for, basically, mostly, and checking email and stuff like that. And man, that thing, it's an HP. I forget what model. It's got i3 8130, I think, U in it. And man, that thing is with 8 gigs of RAM. That thing is a nice little laptop. I bought it refurb on eBay for a little under 400, if I remember right. So.
The other night, Snob got me selling me on GoPro cameras and all the goodies. Now tonight, you're trying to talk me into getting a new PC. I mean, you guys are just like trying to chip the hell out of my gun budget.
Hell, man. I just wanted to talk general stuff, for everybody. So, to get an idea of what they can and, the capabilities of their hardware and stuff. And it turned into help Jay buy a new computer.
My gun store has brand new Colt ARs in stock right now. And you guys got me trying to balance something here in the middle. And boy, I'd sure like to have a Colt AR.
Well, I mean, if you have a computer store that sells ammo and guns too, that would be awesome.
Yeah. But here's the thing, man.
Maybe I should just use a gun to go get me a computer.
No, don't do that. No.
Here's the thing, man. Take notes on everything we told you about the motherboards and stuff, right? And go ahead and get your rifle now, because the motherboards are still going to be there months from now. The rifle might not be.
True.
Yeah, I'm about ready to hop on that rifle this Friday. I missed out on one a month or two ago, and I was checking this one out, man. Trigger was sweet, and man, all it needs is a scope or carry handle. It's good to go. I wouldn't change anything on it.
eBay's being stupid. I mean, not eBay. Newegg is being stupid. That's what I was trying to say. Newegg is being stupid.
Speaking of those GoPros, Jason, Amazon's got these, was it Dragon Touch 4K underwater video things, video cameras for like $39. Got
Really?
slow mo and everything.
Really?
Yeah, and
39
it,
bucks,
it
not
comes
bad.
with a lot of attachments for it. And plus, I bought you know how Amazon you buy these three together and this for so much. It came with another pack of attachments. You get a chest rig, a head strap, thing you can hook up on bicycles and shit, or motorcycles, whatever you're driving.
Yeah, Snob showed me a essentials kit that had like 50 pieces in it.
Yeah,
Rigs
I
for
think
your hat, tripods, chest rig, probably just all your adapters and everything, like 50 pieces, and it was like less than $25.
yeah, I think this one here was like 11 something, maybe $15, maybe. I ended up getting that. I forgot to get the card. I thought I had a card here, but I can't find it.
Yeah, I might try a lesser expensive camera just to get my feet wet and learn off of before I move on up to something better. I had no idea they were that cheap.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too. Something to play around with, get used to it.
Without spending a fortune.
I even went out and bought a little attachment to where I could hook the camera up to the side of my AR rifle. Hook right up to the
Nice.
rail. So once I get the car, y'all be seeing some of them videos out.
What did you say that was, Buck? A dragon? What?
Dragon Touch.
Okay, I can
It's
write
like-
this down here. Dragon Touch.
I think it's like $39, 29, 39, something like that. Oh, and it's a Vision 3 4K. Yeah, I was sitting in my room this evening, priming some casings and stuff, and listening to the chats on the tablet. I can hear it just fine and everything, but I cannot see the chat at all.
The screen is
looks
that small?
Yeah, it's like 8-inch tablet, but the time you get the chat up, everything's a little bit smaller. I can see. better on the phone.
That's right. With everything on the screen, including the chat. Yeah. Can you pop out the chat window on that device?
To be honest with you, I never tried.
I was just curious.
What I usually do is have my phone and the tablet going. If I want to see what's in the chat, I just look at my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, my eyes are not that great either. I can't get things that small. Even 8 inches would be too small for me.
I had my
That's what she said.
Notice he didn't deny it.
Hey, Jason, you remember those Vengeance memory chips you were talking about before?
Yeah.
The 32 gigs, the 216 gig combo?
Mm-hmm.
much was that?
Just a second. Flip back and see. Offhand here, I think it was around $159.
It's $117 on Newegg, and they have a sale for 2 days.
Why is it they always have sales when they ain't got no damn money?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah.
I always wondered that.
Unfortunately.
It's like every time OLED has a sale, I don't have any damn money. It's like,
Huh.
God damn you bastards! Can't you have a sale when I have money?
The
Yeah, it
last
says
sale,
$142, and they're saying that's minus $50 on sale.
yeah. Yeah, I wanted to get not the OLED sale they had this time. I wanted to get the one where they had all the different ones from the last sale. But again, they had the sale and I no money.
Jason,
Well, no extra money.
would you want a full ATX motherboard or would a MATX be okay? Just out of curiosity.
No, I'd rather have the full size and either a full size tower or the slightly smaller one. I don't want a small one.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
She told me twice.
That's why he's not married anymore.
I'm gonna stay out of that one. My God, this computer is so freaking slow.
That's why you need a new one.
I know. Just trying to figure out what I want. It's Jason and Buck trying to figure out what they want. It's not that easy. There's so many options.
Yeah. Next question is, how much would you want to spend on a motherboard?
I would probably go with an Asus board, and pretty much I'd take the toppest board they got.
Now you're just
Except for-
pronouncing it
except for,
like
like,
awful.
$400 and some dollar. I don't want to go that, but I don't know, $279 to $329 if that was the ultimate top of the line.
Okay, so that makes it easy. I was wanting to find out.
with built-in Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Let me screen share this, and you can look see if that what they want for it on a. Oh, Stacy's jumping in here. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
I've been in here for like 10, 15 minutes already.
I'm sorry, I was surfing on Newegg trying to find something to show Jason, and
Oh, you're looking on Newegg too?
Yeah. See, this is what I was looking at, wondering about. $280. Got your built-in Wi-Fi. Got your built-in Bluetooth. It's the Wi-Fi 6, so it's the newest standard. You got your two M2 slots on the board there. One at the bottom, one up there right above the one PCI slot. It's got a good VRAM cooling, which is that area right in here. That's where your VRAMs are. Those are basically like capacitors that filter the electricity and stuff in through the board and stuff. You want those to where they're not going to get super duper hot, so that's got a good cooler on those.
That's where you run the water through.
No, water doesn't go through there.
Oh.
Don't be like Snob and pour water over your motherboard.
No, don't do that.
No, don't do that. But yeah,
Don't do
this
Snob.
is a good one.
So how many PCIe slots has that got?
It's
2?
got 3.
Oh, I see one down there. Okay.
Yeah, it's got the little tiny little slot, and it's got 2 full size. Your video card would go on the top one, so
Yeah,
If you
don't
were
snob
done-
your computer.
this one's already got built-in Wi-Fi, so that little one is pretty much going to be useless. Most people aren't even going to use that bottom one unless they're running a capture card like what we talked about before the show. But yeah, this will be a good motherboard for you. You got your 4 RAM slots, And it's a nice looking board too. The eye, that's RGB, so you can change the color on the eye.
How many hard drive connections does it have?
I can't tell from this picture.
I mean, it doesn't say in the description up there.
It probably does somewhere. I was looking to see if I can see off the picture, but they're right here, I think, on the right.
What was the
See
what was the
that black
question?
box right here, right here. See, those are going to be. That's going to be your SATA connectors for your hard drives. Probably going to be 3.
Looks like 3, but those are probably double wide.
Yeah, I
the
was
way
going
we're
to say if
looking
it's
at.
double stacked, then it
It's
would
not
be 6.
6 in the thing up here. I've seen a 6 somewhere. Oh, that's
Well,
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's Wi-Fi, and it's got the 2.5 gigabyte LAN, so that's going to be your faster wired internet too. Yeah, this is a good one, and it does have a header. So if you do have the USB 3C connector on the front of your case, you can hook that into the motherboard. Some of these new motherboards, depending on how much they cost and whatnot, don't have that. This one does.
It says 3rd gen Ryzen. Is that the current?
Yeah, that's the current.
That's not
It'll
the
also
update.
use the
third
new
gen.
one when they come out. So if you buy this now and you later on you want to decide between the 3600 or the 5600, it would use both.
Oh, it's backwards compatible. Okay.
Yeah. Well, technically that would be forwards compatible.
What do they have in like the Prime series motherboard? You know, that skips all this fancy gaming and lights and all that.
The Prime series aren't going to be as good. That's the bargain basement one.
Oh, that's their bargain basement.
Yeah, the
I
tough
thought
one.
they had something like
the
a
tough
premium or deluxe or something that was
the
basically a good one, but without the
yeah,
gaming.
The ROG is the top of the line. Tough is the mid grade, and then Prime is the bargain basement when it comes to Asus. Yeah, it's got 6 SATA 6 gigabit per second connectors on there, so they're definitely double stacked because that's where they would be. They normally would be down there in the bottom right corner. So from the looks of it, that would be double stacked right there. 2 here, 2 here, and then 2 here, going down to here. So, yeah, we can look. The Tough Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. The thing is they don't have the Wi-Fi they don't have this one with the Wi-Fi right now. They just have the micro ATX. They don't have the full size ATX.
Yeah, I definitely don't want a micro.
Yeah, see, that's like you're missing. So this is the micro. I mean, the micro is good still. You're still going to have all the features essentially. It's just going to be shorter. You're going to, because you still got all 3 of the slots. You still got 2 of the M2 slots. This isn't a bad board. And like I said, you still got built on Wi-Fi because you can see the little brass knob, screws there on the back of the board. That's for your
antenna.
Yeah. But where this one might be lacking, but it's really not. If I remember right in the testing that Hardware Unboxed did on the various B550s, this still ranked pretty good. But yeah, I mean, this would work for what you want it for too.
Now, has computer stuff been out of stock like everything else in the world, or has?
Yeah, depending on where you're looking and when. Yeah, stuff has been in short supply, depending on what it is.
No, Jason, just ammo.
ammo, gun parts, tools, workbenches, reloading presses. Everything I look at, out of stock.
Mm-hmm. That's actually not a bad price for a mini ITX motherboard right here. But I know you're not wanting to do it. It just caught my eye. Um, the MSI boards aren't bad either. This mortar, this is a pretty decent board here, and this one is too. This one's got the Wi-Fi.
I've used MicroStar before. It's not so bad.
Yeah. This one's got like a cool carbon fiber look to it in parts. And it still has RGB on the motherboard if you're into that kind of stuff. You still got your two M2 USB. I mean, not USB. The SSD. There we go. SSD connectors, and you probably got six set of 6 connectors here. Would look like.
Rob's back. He's out in the chat. Sorry, bud. We're still talking foreign language.
Yeah, he jumped up because we were like, yeah. So you can clearly see on this one, it's got 6. Yeah, I mean, this will be a good one. Oh, and this one does have a cooler. That's what this is here. See how it's got that like bar? That's actually
Heat
right above.
sinks.
Yeah, that's the heat sink for your M2 slot. So that's a decent feature to have too. The top one and bottom one both have the heat sink on it.
But that you still need a case to put all that in, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like the skeleton that holds your CPU. See the socket, this piece up here, you see where my cursor is? You can see it bigger on the blow up, obviously, but right here, that's, well, let me see if I can get that picture bigger. Right here,
Yeah.
that's where your CPU goes. Your video card would go in here. This is where you would put one of your the card style SSDs. Another one of the card style SSDs would go here. And then you have another slot here if you want to put another thing in, and a slot here. A little mini slot. The little mini slots, this one looks like it has 2. Those are generally where if you had to put in a Wi-Fi card, where they would go. But if you were like wanted to put a capture card so that you could run 2 monitors off of this, or run it from, not 2 monitors, but run it from a computer to another computer. Because some people, like Jason and I were talking before in live, some people will have 2 computers, one for actually gaming, and then another computer that they'll hook that up. You know, the gaming computer will have a capture card in this slot, and then a cable running from the capture card to the other computer, and the other computer will be the one that actually loads the video up to, say, Twitch or YouTube or something, you know, one of the streaming services.
So everything right around, say, just give or take, say 250. You know, 250 motherboard, 250 processor, 250 video card. Throw in $150 for memory, and then hard drives. Where are we at? About 1,100. Windows makes it 1,200. And well, cases can be cheap or expensive.
I'll tell you about Windows off there.
So $1,400. Is
Like
that
I
about
said,
right?
1,500 on it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what he put in his.
Yeah,
I know
it depends on what you put in it. I mean, it wholly depends on what you put in it. Like, let's see, just out of curiosity, let me.
Hey, check that out. That's got Mystic lights on it. Ooh.
Yeah, you got lighting here, and you got lighting up here. But yeah, this is a decent motherboard. There are cheaper ones, but you know, remember the cheaper one, you're not going to have as good of heat sink over your VRAM. You're not going to have the built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. all that kind of stuff. You might not have as many USB ports on the back on the computer. Like,
Does
you might
High
not
Point
have-
make a board?
Yeah, but you're not gonna. You won't have a header for the USB-C port if you have one on the front on a cheaper motherboard. Those are things you got to think about too. But yeah, this is a good one. That Asus one we were looking at's a good one. But now I'm curious, what is a 2060 going for these days? Video cards and devices. Desktop. Remote workstation. We'll look at the 5000 series on the RTX too, on the Radeon, because those are decent too. So let's see what we got here.
It looks like fans on my truck.
Yeah, they do
Yeah.
look like radiator fans. Don't
Yeah.
they?
Let's turn off these ones, and we'll turn off that one. We'll just go with that and see what we got here. Yeah, you're looking at 300 for that one, 2060
And what are we looking at?
video cards.
Oh, okay.
These are what makes the picture show up on the computer screen. And renders, if you're doing video editing, renders the video and all that kind of stuff.
What do we got for 279?
Probably
Nothing?
nothing in this series, in these two series. Now you'd be looking at 1600 series, which would be this one. So we'll look at 1600s too. See, like 1660 Super 230.
That's okay. Yeah, we'll skip that.
But put a belt on
Here's
that bitch with
another
a
one.
fan.
Here's another one, 232 for this one in the 1660. The 1660 are the same series as the RTX. They don't have the ray tracing and stuff like that this one has. This is basically a cut down version of this. Yeah, you don't want a 1650.
Nah, I really don't want those. I could have got those years ago.
Yeah, the 1660 Ti is not a bad one if you're looking to save a little bit of money, but not a whole lot of money if you look. The 289 to 339. It's not a big difference in price.
At 1650 is 169.
Yeah, but that's not as good of a card. This is budget.
Yeah, that's like several year old technology right there.
That's
no,
the high points.
Yeah,
no, that's a lower quality version of this. It's
that's a Sky.
It's got the sights on the side.
this is your Walther PPQ. This is your Walther Creed.
Oh, I got a Walther Creed. No, I don't. Not a Creed.
That's the closest thing I can come up with. But, yeah, if you're gonna go with the 1660 Ti, you might as well go with the 2060 at this point. From the looks of things, the prices aren't all that much different. Yeah, 319 for this one, and the 1660 Ti's are going for almost 300. So yeah, you'd be better off with this.
Do they have a kit like already put together?
Oh, they got bundle packages. Most of these
Yeah,
stores.
You can, yeah,
You can get motherboard bundles where, not the case or anything, but kind of get you like
I was meaning like most of the internal
well,
parts.
you can even get bare bones, like where you'll have parts, like a case and stuff with some stuff. You're not generally going to get as good of parts as you would if you were to piece it all out yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, starting to build one off of a bare bones is like you already have a good computer and you're just getting a second one.
I'm looking to see if they got any bundle packages. 'Cause Newegg moves shit around all the time. They make it real hard to find things sometimes. So I know they have them. It's just finding them.
Now
Now the arrow's not one to work.
it's been a long time, but I used to deal with Newegg a lot, and I had them one time double charge me for some memory, and they would not fix it. I had to have my bank open up an investigation thing to get my money back.
Yeah, I've never had any issues with Newegg. I've always had good experience with them. People's mileage will vary, you know.
That was just one time shopping there with 10 times with no problem, but I do remember that they double charged me for memory, and I got my sticks and everything, but like I said, they double charged me, and I tried dealing with them and got nowhere with them, so I just filed a little investigation thing with my bank, and they got the money back from them.
Yeah. See, this would be a nice laptop if I had the money. that 1660 Ti and this, though, is basically the equivalent of the video card I got already. But that CPU is so much better than the one I have.
Man, I can't believe it is 2020 and they are still making laptops with 15-inch screens.
But that's the predominant size these days. You rarely see a 17-inch anymore. There's only a handful of companies that make a 17-inch. I prefer a 17-inch. And the screen length.
I won't say anything about it.
Yeah, screen size, I said. 17-inch screen size. This will be a nice one too. Oh God, it's 5500. Why do they put those in there? That 5500M is a joke on that video card. Jesus Christ. It's all Intel's fault. I know it's Intel's fault. I bet you anything, Midnight sent his links out and we're still just going on and on.
Yeah, I think he started like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
he's
I
live.
just have not been paying attention to anything except this stuff. Yeah.
He's 2 or 3 people into introductions by now.
No, not even halfway through. Come on. Giving Midnight too much credit. But yeah. Yeah, he done sent his links out like a half hour ago. Oh, man.
Well, I was kind of surprised you was going to do a geek chat, Rich. I thought tonight's show was going to be about
You know, John?
Biden not answering questions and stuff like that. Guess there's plenty of time for that.
Yeah. I mean, Biden pretty much said nobody has a right to know. So,
Yeah,
Sorry
man.
to
Don't
look
be
you
so
up.
nosy.
sorry I left you out there by yourself there, John. I didn't even
Oh,
know
you left me here?
Yeah, you're here now. I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't-
okay.
I was looking around on Newegg still. I didn't even know you were waiting.
Yeah, I was
back.
wondering what happened to you.
Yeah, I went down to like half a kilo of memory. So I had to shut down Windows and had to restart, and yeah, 14-year-old computer. Yeah.
The duck should have like a quack button, so when you're in the back, like knocking on the door, you could quack quack.
Quack quack. I was doing that.
You had to pay $25 a month for that.
Oh yeah, that's big time money. I don't have that right now.
anyway, any of the stuff that you saw tonight, you can always go to a builder and have them assemble. It's going to cost you a little more than if you were to put it together yourself, but you don't have to do the work. And if you're worried about screwing up, somebody else gets to screw it up.
They come with directions, and there is YouTube. You can figure it out. Physically putting it together is no problem. And pretty much anymore, Windows will take care of most everything once you get it loaded up. So there's where your frustration's going to be. Just getting your operating system going and your software and stuff.
Yeah.
The physically building it is nothing.
With a new computer, you're going to want a thumb drive to put. You're going to want to download Windows to a computer, the install program, transfer that install program to a thumb drive, and then install it from that thumb drive onto your new computer.
Can't you just get Windows on a thumb drive when you buy it?
I don't know if they sell it that way or not, but if they did, it'd probably cost you more money.
They're just doing a download, are they?
Yeah, you download it for free, put it on the thumb drive, and then transfer it over.
For free? Windows is giving it away for free?
The download is free.
You're kidding.
The activation will cost you money, but you know what? You can run Windows without activating. You'll just have the activation color, the thing in the corner on your desktop. I'll tell you how to get around that off air. There's ways to do that too.
The Rich the Pirate.
No, not pirating. It's just I'm not getting paid to promote these companies, so I'm not going to.
I do it the same way I tell the truck drivers when they come in with the check engine light. Piece of black tape over that light. You're good to go.
I had an IROC Z Camaro, and it was back when you didn't have the OB2 connection. It's where you had to put the thing in there and count the flashes.
Yeah.
On the thing. I got pissed, took the thing out, just reached a screwdriver down there and busted the bulb. No more check engine light.
That works too.
Yeah, I think it's time to start wrapping this up anyway. Midnight's probably like, that some bitch is quirking me. All right. So, Jason, you got anything you want to say before we go?
Nah, good chat, man. It's always good sometimes, man, to get off of guns and get off politics, just talk about some other stuff. So I enjoy it, man. Good idea. And I'll probably have a show Thursday night about 8:15, and we'll just all hang out and talk about whatever. Thanks for having me. It was good to see everybody in here and out in the chat. So have a good evening.
Yep. Thanks for jumping in. Buck, what about you?
I didn't know what y'all were talking about, but I kind of got a general idea now. I kind of learned a little bit.
Yeah, once you get the hang of it, it's really not as complicated as what it sounds. It's mostly terminology that'll throw off people. But once
when y'all started spitting out numbers and everything, it kind of lost me.
Just figure out the major components: your motherboard, your processor, your memory, and your video card, and look at these places like Newegg or Micro Center's got stuff for sale, and you'll catch on pretty quick.
Yeah, even Amazon, you can find prices on some computer stuff over there for not that bad price too. So that's another. Those are the three main go-tos primarily that I look at. Is usually going to be Amazon, Micro Center, and Newegg. So
yeah, check them out then.
Just make sure you don't have any other windows open or your computer will crash.
And both of those places have sections of refurbished desktops, laptops, stuff like that. Like you can always find refurbished Hewlett Packards.
And refurb, don't be afraid to look on eBay if you're looking for something that's refurb.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, thank you for the invite.
Yeah, I'm glad you found some of it in educational, the parts that you understood anyway.
Yeah. I got a few numbers down here jotted down so I can check out later.
All right. What about you, Stacy? You got anything you want to say before we go?
All this nerd talk put me to sleep.
Oh, there you go. Now you can go to bed and you fall asleep, and all you had to do was
Could have just listened to Snob.
He's out in his office, so I prefer not to listen to him.
So
I
you
know, but
could-
if you need to go to sleep,
well, what she could have done was been in bed watching this on her phone.
true.
I've done that. I was listening one night, I think, to when Obi-Wan was still doing shows. And I put my phone on my pillow when I was laying there, and Snob came in whatever time, and I was asleep, passed out. The show was over on my phone, and I was just passed out. So, other than that, I was just going to tell Jason there was no probably about it Thursday. He was doing one.
How could I say no to a pretty lady?
I know, right?
Alrighty. No, thanks for jumping in, even though you were late, but it happens.
Well, I was actually like in the background at least 15 minutes. And I texted Jason. I said, "Tell Rich to let me in." He never
He
looked at
never
the phone.
did. He never did.
I
He didn't
didn't
look at the
see it
phone.
till you were already here. I didn't see it in the chat, and I didn't see it on my phone because not only did I have text messages, I got Midnight Range is live, E Honda's live, Unloaded Beatty is live, Salty Cracker is live, and kind of unusual, but Trump sent me a tweeter message like 500 times a day.
Yeah, he's good for that. All right. What about you, John? Got anything you want to say?
Yeah, I just miss hanging out with you guys. I was able to get on tonight, so thanks for letting me in.
Good having you again.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, those who don't know, John was a regular when this show started. In fact, he was the show's producer. He had all the little sound effects and everything that we used on the show. He
As
did
wonky as they were.
commercials, because we actually did commercials for other people's channels, and
Not as top rated as the Gun Snob, but
yeah, you didn't do the Yogi Bear voice, but
Hey, boo boo.
can't expect everything from Gun Bunny Peanut Butter.
True. I should just change my name to that gunpowder peanut gun peanut. What was
Gun
it?
Bunny
again?
Peanut Butter.
Peanut butter bunny butter.
No, it was Gun Bunny Peanut Butter.
Gun
Somebody said something
bunny
about
peanut
somebody
butter.
about gunpowder being a gun buddy. I think it was Ghost. And you said, no, I'm the Gun Bunny. I was like, really? You're like, yeah, I'm Gun Bunny Peanut Butter.
Jeez.
You could always change it to snot-filled Easter candy.
True.
Like the
Doesn't quite
Cadbury eggs.
represent.
The Cadbury eggs that won the bracket. The
Doesn't quite represent me, but it works.
Yeah, man. The first episodes of this show were you, me, Tardot, Gunpowder, Ghost, and Clover.
How is Tardot?
Yeah, where has Tardot and Gunpowder Beauty been?
And
I
They
mean, ever
moved
since
off
they
and
moved-
left us all behind.
Well, they moved twice in the last year and a half.
yeah, they're in Missouri now.
Yeah, lucky bastards.
They went from Texas to Michigan to Missouri.
I think they ended up in a better place now, anyway. Especially from what Michigan is becoming.
Mm-hmm. I miss having him on the show. Anyway, before we all start breaking down crying, we are going to bid you all adieu. The two of you that are still out there watching, according to the counter on the duck here. Most of everybody else probably already took off and over at midnights because there's a bunch of turncoats. But Kingpin never did jump in here. He had a link to, and he saw that.
Son of a
he is.
pup.
Yeah, son of a. Anyway, have a good night, folks. We will see you
Can't
next
never
week.
trust that guy unless you need him.
We'll see you next week, and who knows? We may talk about this a little bit more because there's still a lot of stuff we didn't cover, like actual stuff. I mean, this is all mostly generality. There's actual part names and stuff we could have went over, and specifics and everything. But I don't know. Maybe we'll do that next week. Maybe not. Maybe we'll have something else. Maybe something will come up in the news this week that we can talk about. I don't know. But we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody.
See you
Vote
later,
early, vote
everybody.
often.
Huh?
I said vote early and vote often.
True.
Yeah. Don't forget to register your dogs and cats to vote. When they
Even
get
the
those
ones that
ballots, make sure
even the ones that are buried.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not gonna let my dog vote. He's a Democrat. He's all for free health care and unemployment.
Mine's all for no guns.